States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And could I get a motion to adjourn?
Where are all these people doing?
All right, approval of minutes, monthly town board meeting, November 4, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Public hearing, Continental Village Park District budget, November 3rd, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Public hearing, Continental Village Water District, November 3rd, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Public hearing, general budget, November 3rd, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Committee reports, Conservation Board.
Conservation Board, the meeting was on November 9th. I think the big headline is that the Conservation Board asked for Town Council guidance on whether the Hudson Highlands Reserve Project will come back before the Conservation Board, and a few other projects on the docket. And the next meeting is next Tuesday night.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
Recreation.
Good evening. Recreation met this past Tuesday, November 30th, and I'm happy to report that programs are back at the rec center. That evening, actually, there was a lacrosse team training in the gym. We are happy that it's almost back to normal with the Phillipstown Recreation Department. That's it for this evening.
All right. Judy, thank you. Phillipstown Hub.
The Phillipstown Hub had a Giving Tuesday fundraiser, which was successful, and I want to share some of the statistics that the Hub has provided. For the next year, they anticipate about 2,500 Phillipstown residents will need access to mental health services this year. Many of them also suffer from addiction. They wanted to thank everyone that donated on Giving Tuesday, but still encourage you to contribute to the Hub. If you haven't already done so, you can go to phillipstownhub.org/donate.
That's a staggering number, 2,500. Oof. That's from Tiny Acorns, right?
Yes.
Planning Board.
Okay, Planning Board, first of all, I'd like to thank the Planning Board members. That we had 3 separate meetings in the month of November, 2 of them specifically for the Garrison Golf Course and Shakespeare Festival, and we had our normal meeting. So thank to the board for putting in that extra time. Each meeting was over 3 hours. So again, thank you for your time. Garrison Golf Course, Shakespeare, we were at both meetings. We went through the EAF Part 3, and that is now completed. That took like almost 9 hours to get through all that, but it's done, so the next steps will be coming up in our next meeting. We may have another special meeting just for Shakespeare's later on this month as well. Other items on the agenda, Riverview Industries, was been talking about for over a year now. Everything's been approved. They'll do all the resolutions for next month. Ron Gainer will prepare everything for that. Arner and Santelis 5 Juniper Road in Garrison. They had a site visit on November 7th. They'll be having a public hearing in the next meeting, which will be December 16th. Johnson, Ritter, and Mountain Drive, Cold Spring, same thing with them. They're going to schedule a public hearing on next meeting, which is the 16th. Jenna Grodwald and Jessa Husta Wildrick, 28 and 30 Hudson River Road down in Garrison. They're going to combine 2 lots into one. We spent a lot of time on that this last planning board meeting, but the site visit is also scheduled. A site visit is scheduled for this Sunday morning at 9:30. Hudson Highland Reserve was back in front of the planning board as well. We went through the FEIS, continued through all that, and that has not been 100% completed. There still needs more preparation on that, and that will be coming back to us in the next meeting as well. Under new business, Polhemus down in Garrison, they're planning on building a little garage, 28 by 40. The board determined it was a minor project, no need for a public hearing or a site visit. So they'll probably get everything approved in next month's meeting as well. Last thing on the agenda was Adam Griswold. They're at the Crest Road in Cold Spring. They're doing a new single-family house with an in-ground pool and a garage. They're doing a site visit for this Sunday as well at 10:30. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Oh, excuse me, Supervisor Shea. I just want to thank Councilmember Flaherty for the work on the solar panels, which are also now at the rec department on the roof. So that's been a long
It's
time.
a major achievement. That
Yes,
took a lot
solar
of years.
power.
Yeah, we're almost 100% completed with that. We should have Central Hudson down here sometime next week to certify everything, and then we should flip the switch, and we should be good to go, and I would say within another week, 2 weeks.
How many kilowatts do we wind up with?
Well, it was 190 something like that. 109, I don't know. What was it? 125 maybe?
125,
125,
yeah.
I think that's what it was.
125 kilowatt system. That's it.
And you can't even see it.
Yeah, you never know it's there. Yeah.
You got major sun on that roof. That's a great achievement. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Zoning.
The zoning board did not meet, and I don't know, did they get an agenda item for January, Tara? Do you have any
Not
idea?
that I'm aware of.
So
Oh,
they're-
for January? I don't think so, but they still have time. The deadline hasn't been
Okay,
reached
so
yet.
as of now, there is no meeting scheduled for January, so, but they
Yeah.
have nothing for December.
So you had it easy.
I did,
It's nice.
You need to get that easy before he takes over your spot.
Maybe get a little easy. Highway.
Highway, Phillipstown Town Board, from Carl Frazenda. Subject, work performed by the Phillipstown Highway Department for the month of November. The last roads to be resurfaced for the year have been finished. Canopus Hill Road, Phillipstown section obviously, Horton Road, Route 9 to Mill Road, and J. Cox Route 9 to the end of the pavement at the top of the hill. In anticipation of the winter season, the Highway Department would like to repeat some good advice from last year. Please consider the following. Have a safe place to park your car during winter storms, not along a town road. Do not push or shovel snow back into the roadways, New York State law. Is your mailbox post sturdy enough to withstand snow coming off the plows? If the post is starting to rot, consider replacing it as already compromised posts are easily destroyed. Is your vehicle snow and ice friendly? Consider snow tires. Move all personal items away from the shoulders of the road. If you don't, our plows will. Make sure you have arrangements for snow and ice control for your driveway or private road. Make sure shoveled snow is shoveled to the right of the driveway so that we do not push back into your driveway. If travel is not necessary, please try to stay off the roads. Please be considerate to the highway workers. These dedicated individuals work long nights and very early mornings to keep the roads as safe as possible. And most of all, please go slow and be patient. The department purchased 2 new dump trucks with plows, which were paid for out of the 2021 budget. They have finally arrived, and the crews are anxious to start using them. This time of year, the shop is very busy, starting maintenance on the plows and sanders for our snow removal season. Fingers crossed it will be light. Update on the new highway garage. Footings are formed. Pouring should be done by the end of this week. The entire highway crew wishes Anthony Garuffi, our top mechanic of 17 years, a happy retirement. His shoes will be hard to fill, and no words can express how much he will be missed. Lastly, we would like to wish everyone a very happy, safe holiday season. Stay safe, stay warm. The Highway Department received approximately 25 phone calls, emails regarding road complaints and issues for the month of November. The Highway Department spent approximately $15,000 of vehicle maintenance and repairs in November. Above report submitted by Carl Frazenda, Highway Superintendent.
Carl's a swell egg, isn't he? Thanks. Thank you, John. Thank you, Carl.
Yes.
Building and land acquisition.
We had a meeting for the highway garage here, actually Zoom, on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. As Carl mentioned, the footings are going to be poured either Friday or, either Friday or Monday of this week. The footing, Friday of this week or next Monday, the footing should be poured. They finally got the bolt layout for the steel building, which were included in the shop drawings, so that's allowing them to actually pour. And then hopefully the walls soon thereafter, and then the slab. But the building is still going to be delayed, so the building itself, thanks to COVID.
Did they have, we're going to see it next spring, or?
It's still up in the air. They had originally said the latest we would see it is April, but I'm starting to doubt that, but we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you. One addition to the highway, we have a surplus truck, an F-550 with a sander on it. The village is down a truck because of supply chain issues. They couldn't get their new truck, so we're gonna lease one of our trucks to the village and work with them. This is this intermunicipal cooperation that everybody talks about, so we're glad to do it. But yeah. Cemetery Committee.
The Cemetery Committee takes care of all of the historic cemeteries in Phillipstown, and because we had a little bit of budget left over after the mowing schedule, Taggart Lake took down, I know we never want to take down any small tree, but took down one tree that was pushing a headstone off of it. Yeah, so he took that down. I think that may be the last work before things freeze, but
That was really a big headstone being pushed by this little tree.
by a small little tree, it was pushing the headstone off, it was about to topple.
Pretty wild, I
Yeah.
saw that, yeah. All right, thank you. Putnam County Legislator.
No report this month, Supervisor. Thank you. Happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you, thank you.
The first item on the agenda is a resolution accepting the resignation of Mark Galezo from the Conservation Board effective December 31st, 2021, and authorizing the town clerk to advertise for the position.
Mark Galezo is going to be a hard person to replace on the Conservation Board, really knowledgeable, been on the board for a long time. I don't know that he's ever missed a meeting, and just a wealth of knowledge, takes it very seriously. I've been to a lot of those meetings, and he's just a great representative for the town. He's just this perfect mix of diplomacy and firmness and knowledge. So, I mean, Mark has put in a lot of years, and we really, really do appreciate the service that he's put in for the town of Phillipstown. I spoke to him and I wrote to him, so, but he's done great work with the board. So it would be with reluctance, but our well wishes to Mark going forward, that we accept the resignation of Mark Galezo. Could I get a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Our best to Mark Galezo, just a really, a nice person, but a hard worker. I can't say enough about him.
Next is a resolution accepting the resignation of Paula Clair from the Zoning Board of Appeals effective January 1st, 2022, and authorizing the town clerk to advertise for said position.
Another person who has served the town for a really long time, on the ZBA. I don't know how many years Paul has been on the
As
ZBA.
long as I've been here, 12 years, so she preceded me, so.
Yeah, it must be, it's got to be 16 years on the ZBA, something like that, maybe even longer. But someone who always showed up prepared for all the meetings, took it very seriously.
At the last minute, but she does show up.
She made
It
her
was
own.
always 7:30 on the button, she was coming, but she had her.
Yeah, but she was always prepared. I will say that for Paula. And, you know, again, these are serious positions and need to be taken seriously. So it was great to have someone like Paula on the board all these years. It's a great opportunity for people, anyone who would like to serve on the ZBA. It's very interesting work. So if you have a feeling you might want to serve, put your hat in the ring there. That would be great.
You're going to have free time.
Yeah, I am going to have free time. And I won't be at the ZBA. Again, it's with reluctance, but our best wishes to Paula Clair that we accept her resignation. Could I get a motion on that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Next on the agenda is to schedule any workshops or meetings. We have a workshop request, as Climate Smart, from Jeff Demansky to discuss community solar. He didn't specify date-wise what he was looking for, so I don't know if you want to do it in December.
Is that going to be in person or Zoom?
He did not specify. I can clarify that with him before you want to, if you want to wait, or...
Let's find out. If
Okay.
he's good for January, I am.
Yeah, let's push it over.
Jeff's another committed person, but he really helped the town a lot with meeting our goals with the Climate Smart. He's been a terrific asset for the town of Phillipstown. So, But reach out to him, see if he wants to do it by Zoom. If he wants to do it, if he feels like it's pressing, wants to do it during December,
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. And then we have the year-end meeting. That could be the 16th, the 22nd. Last year we did it on the 22nd, which I'm kind of surprised at. You want to do the 16th?
Yeah, let's do the 16th.
I won't be able to make the 16th because Haldane has a meeting the 16th. So that's in the
You're
evening,
gonna
right?
miss all the fun. I mean, the year end.
But the Haldane school has a meeting, so just trying to.
We'll just give everything to her.
Exactly. Judy's taking on 7 committee assignments.
And then there's the reorg and the regular monthly meeting, which are usually the same night. The reorg will be at 7, and then the regular meeting at 7:30. That'll be January 6th.
You better bone up for that reorg. Yes, the reorg is the best. I may come anyway.
You'll meet us at Doug's after.
Yeah, let me know when you're leaving here. Can recon down at Doug's, yeah.
Next is the code enforcement monthly report for the month of November. Fees collected, $78,280.50. There were 39 total permits issued, 1 new commercial or industrial building, 5 additions, alterations, or repairs to residential buildings, 9 all other permits, 10 certificates of occupancy, 2 stop work orders, 1 inspection of public assembly. And Greg would just like to remind everyone to please service your fireplace and chimney now that heating season is here.
As always, we appreciate Greg. We really got lucky today. We got Greg as a building inspector. Just sort of this diplomatic, common sense individual. I mean, people just love him. So we're really happy with that. And he also brought in $78,000 last month, so we like that too. That's not too bad. All right. Well, thank you to Greg.
Next, yeah.
I mean, does anybody have anything else before we move on to the rest of the agenda?
Real quick, I'd just like to thank all the local churches for preparing 140 Thanksgiving meals for Thanksgiving. The Knights of Columbus delivered them to all the people who couldn't come, so that's a lot, 140. Also, too, real quick on the Garrison Water District, we did drill another well. Unfortunately, we didn't hit really much water. So we're in the process of Plan B. We were looking at a couple options today. And one other thing, I'm in the process of getting a second trailer down here, so we have 10,000 gallons of water as opposed to 5. Because in wintertime comes, the road could get icy. And so anyway, we're looking at possibly doing that just so we don't run out of water.
Yeah.
Just as another option, that's it.
And they're not
That's
going to
it.
charge us for the second.
They're not going to charge us for the rental of the tanker.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, they probably love us. They probably love us at this point.
Anyway,
We're their best.
something I'm looking at, that's all.
All right. One thing I would say is I know there's a lot of concern about Shakespeare. We are going to host tonight. I probably won't be here by that point. We're going to host tonight with our attorney here to explain the process and lay it out. So we'll be hosting a night for people to come and gain a further understanding what that process is. It's before the planning board, as you heard Councilman Flaherty say earlier, 9 hours spent just on EAF. So that's a serious endeavor. EAF is the highest standard there is for environmental review in New York State. So, and as part of the seeker process, the bar doesn't get any higher than that. And to spend 9 hours reviewing that, just that component of the project, that shows this level of seriousness with it, with which this project is being taken. But there's going to be a night here about process, not about the substance, about process, about how that goes. So if people are interested, keep an eye on the local paper and our website. It'll be announced probably at a public meeting, but that you can look for that in the coming months. But I did want to make that announcement. Anything else from the board?
Yeah, could I give a quick report back just on the food scraps recycling visit? It'll be quick only because it's 3 minutes, John. 3 minutes. Timer's on. So as Phillipstown keeps exploring the feasibility of developing a food scraps recycling program in the town, Karen Erdl and Eric Brown of the Climate Smart Task Force have really been driving this effort. Thanks to them, they arranged a visit down to the village of Scarsdale to look at their municipal food scrap recycling program. Davis McCallum, Crystal Ford, and Nancy Montgomery also attended. And I think the big picture is we all know food scraps have an environmental impact. A lot of people want to to compost or recycle their food scraps, they can't. And the big picture from the Scarsdale visit is that it's doable, that it's relatively affordable, that it's administratively pretty simple, and that it would create a real new service for town residents. A couple details just before I want to get the next steps in front of the board for January, because some of it is a little time sensitive. Scarsdale's costs are about $7,000 annually. Most of that is for the pickup service from a carrier, about $5,000. They put out an RFP. And we would explore what the cost would be up in this area. Their food program started as drop-off only, which I imagine Phillipstown's would be, and they take all food scraps, so you don't have to worry about what you put in the bins that residents buy. And so they have moved on to curbside pickup after 3 or 4 years that people pay for. And they have about 2,000 homes out of 5,500 homes in the program. Now, that's about 6 tons of food scrap recycling that they're doing each week. And so the next steps, the only reason I wanted to bring it up with 1:20 left, which I will be done with, the Karen and Eric would like to make a presentation at the January workshop about this. I think the hope is that there will be a resolution from the board to form an ad hoc committee on food scraps recycling, which hopefully they will agree to co-chair. That committee would be in charge of estimating the costs of the program, proposing a drop-off location, and they would oversee the implementation for the board approval. And so that resolution would be in January, and they would look into funding sources. There's a DEC 50/50 grant, and Crystal Ford also has some funds left over for a Climate Smart program, which she would have to decide how to spend by February. And so there'd have to be some action at the January meeting, but very exciting. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a great program, another effort towards our Climate Smart initiative and, lessening our carbon footprint. So we're just going at it from all angles. It really feels that way. So great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on.
Next is the resolution honoring Judge Toman.
All right, I'm
Number 6, that's you.
gonna come around. Put my mask on. Get fogged up here. I'm coming down into the audience. Fair warning.
I think John's on it.
I think he's grabbing. Oh, he's going to use that one.
Oh, court
Maybe not. Nope.
Tara Percocello, come on down. We're honoring Stephen Tolman, one of our longest-serving justice at this point tonight. Steve couldn't be here this evening. Steve has several health concerns, but he's served the town of Phillipstown, I don't know, how many years, Cindy? 25 years as town justice. He was my personal attorney for many years until he closed his law practice, retired from that. He's just a super steady person. Somebody, as a justice, that's what you want. You want this impartial, objective, and steady individual. I don't think I've ever heard Steve raise his voice, ever. I mean, he's just so placid, and I've seen him in court, and he's the same way there. Treats everybody with dignity, fairness. He's just really an impressive person and an incredibly intelligent person. Just, I would say brilliant, really a smart guy. The whole Toman family, we had his father as building inspector for many years. They've served the community for decades, probably 50, 60 years. So I would like to read this proclamation from the town that we have for Steve into the record. Cindy, you want to step up? Or this is Cynthia Peragio. She's the court clerk, and I have to say we're extremely fortunate to have Cindy. I don't know what we would have done the last couple of years without her playing the court. It's a proclamation from the town of Phillipstown. We are here today to pay honor and celebrate the dedicated, selfless service provided by the Honorable Stephen G. Toman to the citizens of Phillipstown, New York. And whereas Judge Toman has served the citizens of Phillipstown as the town justice since 1996, serving for a distinguished 25 years. Whereas Justice Toman is a member of the New York State Magistrates Association and the Putnam County Magistrates Association. Whereas Justice Toman has made himself available 24 hours a day, because they have to come in at night if you're having an arraignment, to serve the needs of Phillipstown Justice Court. And whereas Justice Toman has faithfully participated in 12 mandatory and elective continuing judicial education classes each year, which added to his vast knowledge of the law. And whereas Judge Toman has respectfully and fairly provided over thousands of cases, including civil, vehicle, and traffic, and criminal. And whereas Judge Toman has always taken the time to work closely with his court clerks, and whereas Judge Toman has always been professional, kind, thoughtful, and considerate, and a very considerate colleague, and has the very highest caliber of work ethic. And whereas, on behalf of the entire town council, I want to express my sincere appreciation to Judge Toman for his exceptional service and dedication to the town of Phillipstown and the Justice Court. Now, therefore, I, Richard Shea, that's me, Town Supervisor of the town of Phillipstown, do hereby proclaim it an honor and urge all citizens, agencies, and employees to join me in congratulating the Honorable Stephen G. Toman on the occasion of celebrating 25 years as Town Justice for the Phillipstown Justice Court, and with sincere congratulations for his outstanding and continued career. So this will be read as it was read into the record tonight, and we'll be presenting this to Stephen, but you will be taking it in his stead for now. I want to introduce Brianna Trompetto, who's the assistant to Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney. I am well.
I will spare you all of the whereases, but the congressman did also want to send along his. The congressman did want to send along his congratulations to the judge for an outstanding 25 years of service and all of the great work he's done on behalf of the community.
And don't feel bad, Cecile yells at all of us. She's like, I always say, if I want this kind of treatment, I'll stay home. I mean, next, we have our Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff to present a citation on honoring Judge Toman. My favorite Assemblywoman.
Actually, I'm the only one. So I can be a favorite. Anyway, so on behalf of the New York State Assembly, we do have a citation for Judge Stephen Toman. And I know how difficult it is to be a judge. I've not been that, but I watch, and it's amazing what you have to do in making decisions. And he's done such a great job for 25 years for the community. So congratulations, and if you can convey this to him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandy. Next, we have the Honorable Susan Sullivan Bishelia, Vice President of the New York State Magistrates Association and LaGrange Town Justice, to present the 25-year congratulatory certificate and engraved pin to Stephen Toman.
Thank you very much, Judge Susan Sullivan Bishelia from the town of LaGrange and also the New York State Magistrates Association. And we have a plaque and also a pin to commemorate the 25 years of service for Judge Toman. And I'll just read you what this says. The New York State Magistrates Association and its statewide membership proudly present this certificate to commend and recognize the service, dedication, and accomplishments of our esteemed colleague and fellow justice, the Honorable Stephen Toman, in recognition of 25 years of service as justice in the town of Phillipstown, presented with sincere congratulations and best wishes of the association today. The Honorable Carl Mann, President. We'll present this to Congratulations. And I'd just like to say that this past year and a half for everyone has presented us with many, many challenges, and especially as a judge in the court. And Judge Tolman has stepped up to that task, and we congratulate him on that as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. It's your honor. Thank you. I'm following my notes from Nancy. We do have a proclamation from Putnam County Legislator Nancy Montgomery. Nancy, do you want to come up? Okay. You're good. Nancy's good. So we have two proclamations here. One, a proclamation from our county legislator Nancy Montgomery, and another from the county executive Mary Ellen Odell. So our thanks to the county. Thank you for doing that, Nancy. Cindy, do you want to step up again? Both county proclamations? Yes. We also have a gift from the town of Phillipstown. It's a gift from the town of Phillipstown. I run the risk of getting hit with this gavel from Celia. I see her eyeballing me. To present to Stephen Toman for his 25 years of service. Thank you very much. This honorary gavel. Thank you. It's a beautiful piece. So we wish Steve good health and a long life and many more years of service to the town. Another 25. Good justices are very hard to come by. So it's seriously, it's an honor to have Steve here, and we're very fortunate. So thank you. Just stay down here. John Van Tassel, come on down. There you go.
Okay, so we're here to honor you tonight, really, is the whole gist of the meeting. And I'm a little choked up about it, but I'll get through, I promise. First, I'd like to introduce former town supervisor William Mazuka to come up and say a few words. Bill, you have a few words for Richard? I'm sure you do.
I know you'll be hearing some wonderful things about Richard, well deservedly so, but before... Don't touch me, John. I do have a question to ask. Do you still have my wife's phone number on speed dial?
Sure. If you start up now, I'm going to call her right now.
Richard, this is the other part of Richard that people don't know. He would rat me out to my wife when he alleged that I said something derogatory about her at a meeting. And I always knew when he did that, because when I would approach the house, the wife would be standing in the doorway with her hands like this. But,
Did you ever get a call?
so the other thing, the supervisor's job is a tough job. Obviously, when I started, I had beautiful black hair, and you can see what it is. And Richard had, well, John's already got a head start, so I don't. So, but we know the things that were accomplished by this board, and especially with the leadership of Richard. So I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about Richard as a person, the guy I got to know and a lot of people got to know. Truly a human being who had concerns for his community and his people that he was elected to help. And through the years, we got to know each other, I think, a lot better. And that, probably one of the things I will always cherish is that I know I can call him a friend. I think he can call me a friend. So, but that's the guy who made sacrifices, and you do make sacrifices, and to do this type of job, and he always had the community in mind and his fellow man, and just a great human being. If you're going to hear a lot of good things about Richard tonight, but I think the one thing is I want people to understand just what a wonderful person you are. And thank you for the years of friendship. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bill. That was wonderful. I now would like to introduce Brianna Trumpetto, Assistant to Congressman Sean Patrick Maloney, to read a citation for Richard.
Hi, Supervisor. The Congressman very much regrets that he could not be here in person, so you are stuck with me. But he did want to make sure to pass along congressional recognition and also thank you for all of the years that the two of you have been able to work together. As has already been said, I know he very much admired your compassion and dedication to the constituency, which is hard to come by. So with that, we would like to present you with a Congressional Certificate of Recognition, and thank you for all of your service.
Thank you. Thank you so much. At this point, I'd like to bring up Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff again.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you as you take over the helm. Richard, Bill Mazuka was the supervisor when I first got elected in this community, because you were probably on the town board at that point. Yes. But I've known you for the longest amount of time in the political setting, for 20 years. So we've had so many discussions about so many different issues, and I have to tell you, it was great. I rode up in the elevator. I was so excited. So, we've all been working on a number of projects together, and I just have to tell you that this room is just, what's happened here in the town hall is just amazing. So you can be very proud of that. It's become part of the modern age with, and a wonderful historic addition to it. So anyway, on behalf of the New York State Assembly, you've gotten citations before. We have another one. And I just want to read two of the whereases, if I could. Richard served 8 years on the town board and 12 as supervisor, bringing imaginative leadership and unflagging energy to the problems revealed by the growing awareness of global warming and the pain inflicted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Richard's story is the story of Phillipstown, where both his grandfather and uncle served as town supervisor, and his career in construction has preserved such historic buildings as the 19th century town hall and enhanced the landscape with many beautiful modern structures that will serve the community for years to come, reminding us daily that he has made Phillipstown a better place for his having lived here, and now therefore be resolved by the New York State Assembly that we admire you, and we know that you are an exceptional individual in the state of New York. And congratulations on a job well done, and enjoy some free time. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have a resolution also from the town of Phillipstown, but before I read the resolution, I'd like to just say just a few words. But I've said enough, probably. We had quite a conversation at the meeting, but Bill nailed it. It's the human being that you are, Richard, that makes you a role model for me, a role model for this board. You've taught us all to listen to the people that are here. The ideas come out of this audience. There were several times we would come into a meeting saying, this is what we're doing. People would come in, make suggestions, and we would listen. And that's something that you've taught me. You've mentored us for years. And the other thing that's interesting that made you such a great leader is you never cared whether it was popular or something. The decisions you made were based on what we thought was right or wrong. Often the room was full of people that weren't happy with what we were, and you always had that. We'd be like, oh my God, this is nuts. I mean, we're going to get taken over. But there's 10,000 people in the town of Phillipstown. And the ones that come here often are the ones that are unhappy with something. So you would always bring us back and say, look, let's let it sit, let's see what's going on, and get a feel for the community. And you have a great feel for the community because you're part of the community. Your entire family has been part of the community, and I can't say enough of how you've mentored me, and I hope to be, I'll never fill your shoes, but I hope to be able to do the job as well as you. So with that said, I'll read the resolution. Okay. Phillipstown Town Board Resolution. Whereas, can you hear me, Seal? Okay. Whereas Richard Shea continues a family tradition of public service, his grandfather, Joseph Leahy Sr., served as town of Phillipstown councilman and highway superintendent. His uncle, Terry Leahy, served as town supervisor, and his mother, Patricia Leahy Shea, was a leader on the Phillipstown Democratic Committee. And whereas Richard has spent his lifetime dedicated to Phillipstown, including serving on the first Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee and the Wetlands Committee, and whereas Richard served Phillipstown with distinction for 8 years as a town board member and 11 years as supervisor. And through his tenure in those offices, stayed true to his first mission statement to, and quotes, make sure that Phillipstown is still as nice a place to live 50 years from now as it is today. And whereas Richard protected his community and his natural resources by stewarding and passing innovative zoning laws, spearheading climate-smart initiatives, and preserving open spaces. And whereas Richard mentored rising community leaders on the town's standing boards, on the town board itself, among the town staff, and in local nonprofit organizations, creating a culture of professionalism, collaboration, respect, compassion, and achievement. And whereas Richard welcomed the public to the town board's table in decision-making and welcomed great ideas. And whereas during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, Richard raised over $500,000 in private funds to assist those facing food insecurity and other personal crises. And whereas the town board and the employees of the town of Phillipstown extend their best wishes to Richard Shea for a joyful, healthy, and fulfilling respite from the town hall. And whereas the town board and the employees of the town of Phillipstown offer thanks to the entire Shea family for sharing their husband, father, grandfather, and brother with the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the undersigned members of the town board and the town offices of the town of Phillipstown, on behalf of the town employees, do hereby inscribe upon the minutes of the town records our gratitude to Richard Shea upon his retirement. We also have a little gift for you, Rich. Wow. If you want to hold that up. So this was given to us, the town board, to give to you by Antipodian. And so they've donated the map, and we've, the town board has framed it for you and matted it for you. But so this is a Frederick Beers original. I don't know, Karen, does it work? So in New York, 1867 map of Putnam County, New York, including Putnam Valley and Phillipstown, including Cold Spring, Nelsonville, North Highlands, Garrison, Continental Village. Steel engraving with original wash colors. The map includes the name of property owners and roads, as well as 3 businesses, directories for Phillipstown, Garrison, and Putnam Valley in the margins, and on the inset, Oregon at the top left, from the Atlas of New York in the vicinity of the actual survey. So I'd like to thank the Lilburns for this donation, and we put the mat on this for you. So thank you. We also have a resolution from our county legislator. Nance, would you like to read your? Okay, she's cool in the back. So is any of the town board members have anything they would like to add? This is the one from Nancy.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, 6 years ago, Richard approached me to take on this seat here, and I appreciate that offer, Richard, and I'm still looking for my bonus pay on that, but my signing bonus. Anyway, it was a pleasure and honor to serve with you over my last 6 years here, and I wish you the best in your future.
Thank you. I've only served with Richard for about 3 years, but I have been so impressed and learned so much about local government here in Phillipstown. I want to thank you for that, and also the extraordinary effort I witnessed as you marshaled everyone during the COVID-19 pandemic to meet the needs of our residents. It was extraordinary, and I will never forget that, so thank you.
I guess I'll just add how much respect I have for you, Richard, and I think in times when, sometimes people can be cynical about government or politics, you really, you are the opposite of that, and you make people want to enter and be a part of that community service, and I thank you for the legacy of your environmental action, which will stay with our community forever. Thank you.
Does anybody in the audience would like to add a few words?
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh, the audience member, Nancy Montgomery. Not our county legislator, our audience member.
It's a Sheryl Crow.
I love it.
I just, I didn't want to read my proclamations because there's so many that have been written so beautifully and all so true. And I just have to say thank you. You instilled and taught me to love my community more. And I don't think anything will ever take that away because it's something that you ingrained in me from day one in serving on the town board, and it continues to stay with me. And you taught me how to listen, and you made me grow up in local government. And I'm not all there yet, but having you as a mentor has really made my world complete. So thank you. I really.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Claudio's got to have something. We know. Claudio can't pass up a mic.
Can't pass up a chance to hold a mic. Richard, I was there when you first got on the town board, and I had 20 years before that to compare it to. And even though I served with your uncle and with Bill's brother before him, I have to say that the last 20 plus years with you and Bill as supervisors has been a golden age of Phillipstown government. So thank you for all you've done, not only for the recreation department that I've been involved with, but also for conservation and for every other part of our life that is touched by town government. Thank you.
Back to Nancy's notes here. So first of all, I'd like to thank Council or Legislator Montgomery for putting this presentation together for us, for the Town Clerk and the Clerk's office for the work that they've done, and to Cindy who prepared the desserts and stuff. We're going to go downstairs. So if nobody else has anything to say, we're going to let, yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Please, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Richard and Karen, Richard, you were my first friend in Cold Spring about 30 years ago. Yeah, maybe I'm overcounting. But anyway, I was grateful to know Pete Seeger a little bit. And for me, this is the closest thing I know to Pete Seeger. And he joined local government for whatever reason. But you've done well for that. And you still embody that spirit of a true American spirit. Freedom for all, and freedom from want, freedom of persecution. And let me just ask you all to sing with me as a result of my Pete Seeger thing. For he's a jolly good fellow. 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 Nobody can deny. Nobody can deny. nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. Nobody can deny.
We should go back up there so you can officially adjourn your last monthly meeting. We still have the year-end meeting, though. So
Yeah.
you still got that. So, but here,
We have to approve vouchers.
If I could just say a few words of thanks. I mean, thanks to everyone in this room. I've said it many times. You know, you hit the home runs and we run the bases. We know we can rely on the people of this town. We know we can rely on our other elected officials when we need them. I mean, Sandy Galiff made the remark, "Oh, I rode up in the new elevator." Well, without Sandy Galiff, we would not have that elevator. So. And, you know, everybody has a mentor. When I got on the board, it was Bill Mazuka for me. So, Bill, thank you for all your years of friendship and mentoring. It was a great experience. I got on the town board in a time of transition. You know, Bill was supervisor, Betty Bundy was on the council, Al Hosmer was on the council. We had Don McGrath as town clerk. It was just an amazing time to be on the board, to have these. I remember Don McGrath was a very funny character. I don't know if anybody here knew him, but he handed me the keys. He goes, "Now you have the keys to the castle." You know, but he was always, he and Bill. If we have old tapes of that, it was like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. They were very, very funny. They were great times. And thanks to my board here, they make my life easier and they make your life better. This is a terrific board of really hardworking people, honest people, but people who have supported me over the years and made the work possible in this town. This is a terrific town board. And everybody who works in this building every day, you know, they're sort of silently going about the business of government. And, you know, people may not notice it, but if they stopped, you would definitely notice. And if this board were not as good as it is, you would notice that also. The great thing about local government is that we get to paint our future here. You can have a direct impact on your community. So it's been an honor to serve the town of Phillipstown, to carry on a tradition that's been in my family for 100 years here. My grandfather Shay was county judge. My grandfather Joseph Nathan Leahy was town supervisor, along with being highway superintendent. So back in the good old days, my mother was a clerk here in this building when they paid in cash. So she used to have to go to the bank and get exact change for people's pay, you know. And I can remember her telling me those stories. I mean, and remember coming in here when the jail was still in this building in the back. So it's an amazing legacy. My Uncle Terry was town supervisor and very involved in the recreation department here, and just a gentleman, you know, somebody I look up to immensely. And over the years has given me great advice and great guidance. But to have those sorts of people in your life, and all of you, it really keeps you grounded. And so I want to thank everybody in this town for supporting me over the years and giving me the opportunity to lead the town of Phillipstown. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's much more than I deserve. The whole evening. All right. We could move to the audience if there's anything that the audience would like to say. The board has had their say. If there's any remarks from the audience at this point. That's...
I'm not sure when to say it, but like, I've had unsanitary water at my home
I'm assuming you have a well.
Yeah, and it's like high in now chlorine, iron, and mercury.
Mercury.
I'm like 30,000 in repair. I'm not being paid. I got hurt at work. The judge appointed me a lawyer. She just said she can't help me. Doesn't have the resources.
Well, I mean, you could, I'm sure somebody could direct you to the correct services. The county generally handles wells. That's county health department. Have you been in touch with the county health department?
Many different departments, yeah.
But the county health department is charged with the mandate of ensuring water quality for wells. So, but Nancy, would you have any advice?
Well, I'm working with getting my social worker to call her.
Well, that's a good move, because Nancy is your conduit to the county, and I'm sure she would bring it up with the health department for you. And if you have water test results, that would be a great thing to supply to Nancy.
Actually, like I went to T. Weber. I've been using. I spent $30,000 with T. Weber this year, and all they test for was chloroform and coli. But
Coliform, yeah, that's a Putnam County profile test, but there are. But I'd encourage you, and we can, again, you could follow up with us, but to get in touch with Nancy and get in touch with the Putnam County Board of Health, because they have the resources to help you with that.
And just like trying to get like a lawyer, because I got hurt at work, and I know employees are, like in America, employees are entitled to certain laws as an employee. Is there like a way I can get a lawyer?
Through the town of Phillipstown, no, that's not a service that we would
Social
offer.
worker should be able to assist you.
Yeah, if you have a
Because I'm on worker comp for 6 years, and I've never seen a doctor, but I started getting paid.
Yeah, are you working with the social services department?
No.
Well, that would be a first step, to get a social worker to help you with that. And again, that's something Nancy can direct you to that.
Legal aid.
Legal aid also, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
All right, Frank, good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Anyone else? Yes. Well, I'm going to see Carl.
I don't smoke marijuana, but I'm just curious how the Cold Spring approving the sale, but not the bars, right? The smoking bars.
Yes.
And is that under your purview or not in any way?
No, we have no purview in the village of Cold Spring.
All right. So there won't. So there's no sales. If you did approve it, then there'd be like gas stations that would sell it or something. What would happen?
New York State is still working out the details of these things. Again, I don't anticipate you will see this in 2022 even. I would be surprised sometime in 2023. So there's time for that to be worked out. The village did go to permissive referendum, and it was approved by the people. So, I mean, that's the thing. We've been encouraging people in the town to go ahead and take that initiative if they feel that strongly about it.
Would there be a dispensary in town or something? I mean,
currently, no, there won't be any dispensaries or any of the bars where you could smoke marijuana allowed in Phillipstown, because we have opted out. But the people can bring it to a permissive referendum.
But the village, once they get the approval, can do that, though. They can have a dispensary in the village of Cold Spring.
Yep. Joe, you're going to join some vaunted company here.
Well, first off, I don't know why people.
You want to come up to the mic, Joe, because we can't hear you.
I don't really know about congratulating you for your retirement because it hasn't started yet.
Right.
I think it's more about what you've done. And I've watched you over the years. I think you've done a very nice job.
Thank you.
We haven't always agreed, but it's always been, if nothing else, fully engaging. And to that point, I was here in September, and I was trying to get the town board to address the process of the Hudson Valley Shakespeare use of the Garrison Golf Course property, and I was told that the town board had no business in addressing the process, and it was all planning board, and it's nice to see that now, several months later, the town board's come around and is going to try and explain to the public what's going on. But my concern is right now that there's this application for a special permit, and I don't, as far as I can tell, the special permit seems to be outside the avenue of the planning board and this and that, and so I would like to understand whether or not the special permit, how that fits into this dynamic, and whether or not a special permit is going to be granted, and what opportunity does the public have to address the special permit, because the special permit, which I got a copy of that was filed with the town, is full of inaccuracies, it's full of misstatements. And so the question is, at what point does the public get to, or does the public get to, address the content of this application, which misrepresents what's going to be happening if this permit's granted?
There'll be a meeting, which I will not be chairing at this point, because I don't know when it'll take place, whether in January, but that'll be up to the future supervisor, at which this special event permit will come up on an agenda item, and it would be open to public comment at that point.
It will be?
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't something that's going to happen in the next, 10 days, a week, or something like that. It will be on public notice.
No, and I know there's been some real misinformation spread by certain people, even in this room, about what I was going to do, and I never intended to be the person to take that on. I will say openly that I support the project, but I won't be on the town board when the special event permit is issued, nor will I be on it when a year or a year and a half from now, or whenever the planning board process is finished. I do not serve on the planning board, so I think it's grossly unfair for any person to assert that I would have some influence in the planning board. Never attended a planning board meeting where Shakespeare was there. Haven't spoken to planning board members about it. Haven't spoken to zoning board members about it. Haven't spoken to conservation board members about it. So I've removed myself from that.
I follow this stuff closely, but I'm not as experienced or knowledgeable as a lot of the people that do this. And the reason in September that I asked for this to be, and I've asked the planning board the same thing, and I've been batted down by the planning board as well. This is a very complex process. It's a very complex application. There's a lot, as you point out, and I agree with you, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of stuff floating around. And that is not a clear, path, or it's not clear to the public, and myself as someone in the public that follows this, exactly what the steps are and what's going to come and how it's going to go. And then you read this, and then you see, on the internet that Shakespeare, they have a big party up there says, their PR machine says coming in the spring, and people think, well, this whole thing's happening. And what I've been asking for some type of leadership is to put out a very clear roadmap, because as you say, that the planning board has got the lead on it, but the town board also has some input. And now there's this issue of a special permit, and well, maybe the special permit's over here, and that's in a different box. And it's like, until I started researching how Shakespeare is currently functioning at Boscobel, I'd never even heard a special permit mentioned. And now special permit is probably going to be the hot button issue it appears after the first of the year, because there's this pressure being put on by Shakespeare about what are we going to do. And so I just think that it would be very good for the town board to publish and publicize a very clear sequence of events that will be followed before a decision can be made.
Now, were you in the audience earlier when I announced there would be an evening just devoted to that?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
And the town attorney will be here to present the entire process.
Right, but that alone has taken me 3 months just to get someone to say, okay, this is, we're going to do it. And so that process...
The ongoing process that the planning board, as Bobby described earlier, they had 9 hours of meetings just this month for the... So for there, hold on, for there to be for somebody to say there's not a process going on is absurd. This process has been going on. We met with the Shakespeare Festival over a year ago. They came to us, made a presentation to us, I think it was last November.
Yes.
They laid out what they would like to do, what their plan was. The owner of the property was there as well. It became an application. It went to the planning board. It's still before the planning board. It's going to be going before the planning board for a long time. The special use permit is something that's been newly brought to our attention. We will address that as a town board in January. We will have the town attorney here to explain the whole process as to how it works and the legal aspect of the whole process.
I have never said that there is not a process ongoing. What I've asked is for clarification of the process, and in fact that the process be honored. Because back in September, I asked about a special permit, and I got no response. And so the question really is how is that all going to fit into this situation? And yes, it's extraordinarily complex. And as you say, the fact that there were 9 hours of meetings, the planning board is overwhelmed by the volume of information that is being presented to them. I've been on 2 walkthroughs on the property with the planning board, with representatives of Shakespeare, and then it turns out that the walkthroughs that I were on aren't really relevant because the plan has changed. So not only is the volume of information overwhelming, it's a moving target. And for someone who actually...
It evolves.
This is classic, Joe. I'm not going to sit here and go through this right now. We're going to have an evening where this process is explained. I know you're trying to get your digs in right now. I hear it. I hear pressure being applied, planning board being overwhelmed, all these buzzwords. This is dog whistling right now. Don't do it. You're a smart guy. I know you're smart enough to understand the planning board process. The planning board has public meetings. Any person in the whole town can go to the planning board meetings, sit in on the meetings, and become informed about what is happening at the planning board. That's democracy. You show up and you get informed. We are going to host an evening, but this is coming to a close right now. Thank you.
Well, that's unfortunate.
All right, with that, what a completely inappropriate way to finish the last meeting, I must say. We have desserts downstairs. Vacancies, ZBA, as I said earlier, we have 1 vacancy on the ZBA, and we will have 1 vacancy on the Conservation Board. Both really good opportunities to get involved in local government. So I would urge anyone who has an interest in that to put their hat in the ring there. Approval of vouchers, general.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Highway.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Continental Village Park District.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Continental Village Water District.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Could we have a mercy motion to adjourn this meeting? Second. All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Thank you very much.